1990 to 2000 was a transformative era in music, shaking off the glitz and glam of 80s power ballads and hair metal into the sludgy alternative, punk and grunge that would roll it into the better part of the decade, outletting into the boy band and new wave of bubblegum pop that would lead it into the new millennium. In the mid-80s, alternative was just gaining its foothold in the Northwest. Nirvana and Alice in Chains were beginning to shape music into the dark and dirty sound that would rule the airwaves for the better part of the next decade. In the United Kingdom, a different kind of movement was growing. Post-punk and dream pop was dominating the underground scene. My Bloody Valentine were starting to get noticed after many unsuccessful releases with their You Made Me Realize EP and their first full-length Isn't Anything. Shedding their previous noisy psychobilly sound and beginning to forge something that was entirely unique musically. Exploding onto the scene in 1991, My Bloody Valentine released Loveless to unanimous praise and peaking at number 24 on the UK albums chart. Ultimately, MBV wouldn't have a follow-up to this album for a few decades, with its members moving to other acts, and Kevin Shields, the band's frontman, unable to come up with a follow-up. But what remained was the legacy of Loveless. This was the genesis of a genre called shoegaze, the term originating from the performers using various guitar pedals to achieve a muddy, dreamy, and distorted sound, combining the era's rock, pop, and electronic styles into its own animal, a primal and dreamlike sound that many would try to emulate, but none would be able to truly master, even in its own scene. Decades went by with bands all trying to chase the sound and success that Shields created, but critically, it could only be compared to its genre's originator, and none can seem to have matched up. Even the band's follow-up, MBV, in 2013, 22 years later, would leave critics questioning if a new release could match the legacy that Loveless left. But you saw Doom in the thumbnail, and if you're watching this far, you're probably wondering what the hell I'm doing talking about 90s alternative when it comes to Doom. And I'll tell you, it boils down to design. It catapulted first-person games from slow, methodical adventures focusing on puzzles, or RPG jank, to a fast, pulse-pounding, infinitely replayable masterpiece that scales to any level of action. From slow, methodical shotgunning hit-scan zombies, to running around at 60 miles per hour with a rocket launcher killing hordes of bony boys. I won't give you a history on Doom and Doom 2 because I feel there are so many videos and docs that already detail what Doom is, how it was made, and why it's such a success. Doom 2 wasn't just a video game at the time, it was the video game. Trent Reznor bought top-of-the-line PCs for him in his studio, not for recording, but to play Doom's LAN multiplayer. How it compares with Loveless is its legacy. Doom 2 destroyed the FPS scene in its infancy, with nearly every game after that had some shooting mechanic in it be compared to, or called, a Doom clone, until the beginning of gaming's 3D era. FPSs in the 90s weren't their own animal. Everyone was either a relative or descendant of Doom's legacy, even down to its very DNA. Heretic, Hexen, Strife, fucking Chex Quest? Doom never had a true spiritual successor, it just passed on its genes. Quake in 1996 was a divorce in design and the studio that made it. John Romero barely had his hands on it. Sandy Peterson left the company shortly after releasing Quake, and wouldn't return to designing FPS games. And Carmack was losing his mind with a sledgehammer. It had less to do with killing hundreds of demons, instead focusing on its aesthetics and environmental puzzles. Doom 2016 was a smash success even in its time, but it moved too far ahead from the mechanics that made Doom, Doom. Every once in a while, art comes along and it explodes in the scene, and destroys with its new ideas. Sometimes it can't be topped in the lifetime of the people who created it. To onlookers or even other creators, it might be soul-crushing to think that there will come a point that you'll reach the peak of your creative potential and never be able to reach a new zenith in your craft. I take it as a sign of complete freedom if you were able to achieve such a height, to think to yourself, I just became the best that ever was, now what do I want to do? Masterpieces aren't made by mistake. If you're ever staring down the height of your skill, remember, John Romero is still making games somewhere, Kevin Shields is still making music, and they're still master craftsmen no matter what they make. And long after the sun sets on you, your art may remain. Thanks for watching. Stay gold.